big shout out to Montreality. You guys are one in a million, man. Those questions are amazing, and you can definitely be G's in my book, because most people in the questions y'all ask are things that people really want to know. So keep doing what y'all doing, man, and stay original. In the classroom, I was really more so real quiet. I always sat in the back of the class. I was rarely there, unfortunately. But I think I was pretty safe. I averaged, a high B. I think if I stayed around long enough, I was a guy that never really was in class much, but I passed every test. As a teenager, I picked on any kind of jobs. I mean, I was outside of grocery stores carrying grocery bags for elders, for tips. I would go to the local car wash and wash cars. I was a newspaper delivery boy. Got into high school, I used to have my locker filled with all kind of candies, goodies, potato chips. You know what I'm saying? I used to sell candies and all that out the locker room. So I used to just pretty much invented my own jobs, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, I bought a chain, bought a car, oh man, put down on a nice little condo, and then after that, the rest of that money went straight to Magic City. My favorite cartoon character of all times, I don't know, I think it would probably be Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks. I used to love that nigga when he sang. I think he's the reason why I got into music, believe it or not. Yeah. I think for the West Coast and what he did was tremendous. We never actually got a chance to actually meet. But I think from a hook standpoint, I still believe that he's the godfather of it. You know what I mean? Me, I was a hook man by default. And that's only because I was a producer. And I just happened to put the hooks on all the tracks that I made. So I was labeled so far as a hook man, but a lot of people didn't even know all the tracks that you heard me on. I was a producer of them. But the beautiful part about it is that it ultimately created you could say a movement. Now today it's like we paved the way for a lot of people to want to collab. Because I remember back in the day when in hip hop, nobody wanted to collab with each other. Because, as a matter of fact, nobody even wanted to sound like each other. If you sound like the next man, you was straight whack for that. You know what I'm saying? And the way I kind of would like for that to come back a little bit, because it enhanced the originality. You had more people to support. The music of hip hop was a lot more diverse at the time, because it was just more it was more exciting because of the fact that everybody sounded different. Everybody brought something different to the table. Whereas today, everyone sounded like the next hit record, so it sounded like the same record just to be continued on everybody's album, you know what I'm saying? Well, when I first started, I was doing collaborations by force. It wasn't something that only because when I came out I had a different type of sound. It was pretty much alien to what was happening now. I was singing over hardcore hip hop beats, but it was reality stuff, like what rappers would rap about, that's what I was singing about. So it was a little too urban for urban radio, but then pop just didn't feel like it could fit that format. So I almost had to be in a position where I had to collaborate with certain artists just to get play on the radio. Because Locked Up was out almost a year before I put Styles P on it. And then once I put Styles P on it, that's when Hot 97 picked it up. And then from there it became kind of easier to you could say, showcase my talent by just leaning next to people that's already popping. And that's how it all started for me. And then before you know it, I ended up in just every track that I produced, I just featured on it, because it helped to kind of showcase what I was doing. And before you know it, I think it just started that trend, because it wasn't a radio or a song that came out that I wasn't knowing at one point, you know what I'm saying? And it just became a system for me. And then after that, I watched Lil Wayne adapt it, and it went to a whole nother level. And then after that, it was of course, you the same, pattern for T-Pain. That's how we broke him. And it just became that thing now where it's like you can't do a record without being features or have a feature on it. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I don't know what the realest shit is, because everything was based on my experiences anyway. I have a hard time remembering all my lyrics. That's why I always got what you call those teleprompters? They stay outside, so they be hitting in the crowd. I be looking out there and just trying to figure out what's the next words. Cause I'm a songwriter, so I do like 3 or 4 songs a day. I got 1,000 records, so I hardly remember half of them. I love Kendrick. You know, I always thought that Kendrick was dope, even before he got signed. You know, it was about a matter of just him getting the right record with the right person behind him. He's a true lyricist. I think he's one of the few rappers that keep hip hop alive from the rawness of it. You know what I mean? So, mad kudos to Kendrick, and he holding down the whole coast, doing real rap music though. You know what I mean? LA was always known for their beats and concepts and lifestyle, but there wasn't really too many lyricists out there. You know, Kendrick is one of the few. You know, Game is a lyricist as well. Of course, when NWA came out, they were more reality rappers. So it's a difference between being a lyricist and being a reality rapper. They was the truest when it came to reality on the West Coast, but Kendrick was one of the few that came out and was actually could go toe to toe with the backpack rappers in New York, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Well, Drake, I think he's a 360 artist. You know, I think he's the champ right now. I don't think there's a rapper out there right now that can go toe to toe with him from a standpoint of just real records. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has a way. He's a poet to me. Like, I feel like that when it's just the way he delivers certain lyrics. He mixes reality along with real rapping in one, and then he adds melody to where people that's not really familiar with that culture can sing along to it. So he's a 360 rapper or artist or performer. I think the performance aspect of it, he grew into becoming a performer. Because I know in the beginning he was really, you know, shy. He didn't really let out too much. You know, I noticed that, and I felt like that was the only piece that he was missing. But now that he's in a position now, I think his confidence has grown a lot. So even when you can see it on stage now, like he's fully developed. And you know, right now I just feel like he's the top, at what he's doing. Yeah, well, actually, Cardinal Official had brought me some records on Drake back then when I first signed Cardi. This was before Best I Ever Had, and I did. I honestly did pass on it because at the time he didn't sound like what he sounded like today. The Best I Ever Had wasn't even remote close to what that sounded like. Like I think he was at a position where he was finding himself, and I kind of heard it in the music. You know what I mean? But ultimately, as time goes, people develop, they get better, and they become the best because of things like that. You know what I mean? Like sometimes that motivates you to want to be better and take yourself to the next level. And I think with him, it was more like he was turned around so many times to where it became more of his motivation. You know what I mean? And that's what it's supposed to do. Like, you're supposed to take every situation and make the best out of it. Don't take it to a position where you think people are hating or people don't want to rock with you like that. It's just creating an environment for you to be stronger and make yourself better at what it is that you do. So that's the whole idea, and I think that's what it was. So I mean, I don't regret anything or any decisions that I make, because you never really can foretell the future on what and who's going to be what. All you can do is be as honest and true as you can, and then, you know, those words will carry your way all the way through. But, you know, I wish him a lot of luck, and I think he's in a good space right now. And, you know, congratulations to him.
You know what I'm saying? I'm confident. I believe in myself. And yes, as you probably could have guessed by this moment, I have decided in 2020 to run for president.
Kanye, I think he's a marketing genius. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I think anybody's capable of anything. Because the things that people, you know, look down on the most is the things that always surface to become the biggest and the best things ever happen to man. So things that you speak out of your mouth always come to existence if you put enough interest in it. And with Ye, he's one of those kind of guys that if he feel it in his heart, he gonna say it. You know what I mean? When we heard it, yeah, everybody might have took it as a joke. Everybody might be like, whatever, I could never see it happen. But whoever thought that Donald Trump would be the leading primary leadership in the Republican Party? Like, Trump, really? But you just never know. So I think it all depends on what your main purpose is on this earth. You gotta feel it, you gotta want it, you gotta deserve it. And at the end of the day, you gotta fight for it. So I think if he put enough energy in it, he might just be a contestant on the fact that he's a celebrity. And he might just say a couple things that certain people just might relate to. And he might just get certain votes from people that might just want to see something different happen. And you'd be shocked if it actually happens. So I don't think, or I don't put putting past anybody, especially him. I think the biggest lie, I would probably say, are the different, like this. It's just too many religions, and all of them can't be correct. So at the end of the day, I think it's to be debated. But I think when you look at how different parts of the world perceive and are brought up, it creates the conflict, because when you're thinking about faith and when you think about how you're brought up and what you're taught to believe is true, and someone else comes to contradict that, it becomes a powerful element that divides people. When I honestly, personally, wouldn't even voice my opinion, because there was always going to be people that might conflict with that. But I think religion is the biggest lie. The true definition of a G, I don't look at a G from a criminal standpoint. I never looked at a G from a criminal standpoint. I always looked at a G as more of as a role model that came up from a hard time, that lived to tell their story, and ultimately, you know, provided an avenue for people up under him not to walk the same path, to, you know, to experience the same struggle. I think when you can put yourself in the shoes of a man like that, you're a G in my eyes for sure. Well, my message to youth pretty much, man, is just to follow your dreams. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people get caught up and get sidetracked by what's happening around them and what's cool. People always ignore their gift, not realizing that gift is what's going to take you out of your poverty, take you out of your situation. That gift is the ultimate element that God provided for you to get you out of any situation, or to take you to what's destined for you. You know, some people are just great at certain things, but because music or modeling or film is cool, they alienate what their gifts are just to be a part of something that is pursued to be, or persuaded to be cool. So I always felt like, you know, my method and message always has been to just follow the gift that you have, put a lot of emphasis in it, concentrate on what you feel that you're great in, because what you're great in is always going to be what pulls you out of the worst situations that you could ever imagine and put you in a better situation like me in the day.